We of the Church believe that all men have unalienable rights to think freely, to talk freely, to write freely their own opinions, and to counter or utter, or write upon the opinions of others. L. Ron Hubbard.
The Church of Scientology sues ex-captain of Flag Service Organization, Debbie Cook, for violating the non-disclosure agreement she signed when she left the Sea Org. On New Year's Eve, Cook sent an email to over 12,000 Scientologists, criticizing the church's management. This is the email.
Dear friend, I am emailing you as a friend and fellow Scientologist. As we enter a new year, it is hoped that 2012 can be a year of great dissemination, and a year of real progress up the bridge for all Scientologists. Although I am not in the Sea Org right now, I served in the Sea Org at Flag for 29 years. 17 of those years were as Captain Flag Service Org. I am a trained auditor and case supervisor, as well as an organization executive course, Flag executive briefing course, and data series executive course. I am completely dedicated to the technology of Dianetics and Scientology, and the works of LRH. I have seen some of the most stunning and miraculous results in the application of LRH technology, and I absolutely know it is worth fighting to keep it pure and unadulterated. My husband and I are in good standing, and we are not connected with anyone who is not in good standing. We have steadfastly refused to speak to any media, even though many have contacted us, but I do have some very serious concerns about our KSW that I see permeating the Scientology religion. I have the utmost respect for the thousands of dedicated Scientologists and Sea Org members. Together, we have come through everything this world could throw at us, and have some real impingement on the world around us. I am proud of our accomplishments, and I know you are too. However, there is no question that this new age of continuous fundraising is not our finest moment. LRH says in Hubbard Communication Office Policy Letter, 9th of January, 1951, an essay on management.
Drop no curtains between the organization and the public about anything.
Based on this policy, I am communicating to you about some situations that we need to do something about within our religion, within our group, actions that are either not covered in policy, or directly violate LRH policy, and to include the extreme over-regging and fundraising activities that have become so much a part of nearly every Sea Org and Class 5 org, as well as every OT committee. This fundraising is not covered anywhere in LRH policy. Hard-working Sea Org members, and the dedicated staff of orgs around the world, aren't choosing to do these actions. Nor are the OTs. I am sure they would be more than happy if they could just get on with direct dissemination of Scientology, as they have done for so many years. But the truth is that this is being driven from the very highest echelons within the Scientology structure, and clearly there is a lot of pressure to make targets that are being set. The International Association of Scientologists, the IAS, was created unbeknownst to LRH in 1984 by Mark Yeager and David Miscavige. This was supposed to be based on LRH policies on the subject of membership, and the Hubbard Association of Scientologists International. However, the IAS is nothing like the membership system described by LRH, which only has 2 memberships, and is covered in Hubbard Communication Office Policy Letter, March 22, 1965, Current Promotion and Org Program Summary, Membership Rundown, and states,
There are 2 memberships.
LRH lists there the International Annual Membership, and gives its cost at £10 or $30. He also lists a Lifetime Membership, which is priced at $75. There are no other memberships or statuses approved or known to LRH. Furthermore, membership monies are supposed to go directly to the org, where the membership is signed up, and the money used for dissemination by that org, in that area. This is covered in Hubbard Communication Office Policy Letter, September 1, 1965 R, Membership Policies.
It all goes into the Hubbard Communication Office book account in the area where the membership is brought, and is not part of the organization's weekly gross income. Membership monies go to dissemination.
Currently, membership monies are held as international reserves and have grown to well in excess of $1 billion. Only a tiny fraction has ever been spent, in violation of the policy above. Only the interest earned from the holdings have been used very sparingly to fund projects through grants. In fact, many of the activities you see at IAS events are not actually funded by the IAS, but rather by the Scientologists involved. Think about it. How many ads disseminating Scientology, Dianetics, or any Scientology-affiliated programs have you seen on TV, heard on the radio, seen in newspapers? I haven't seen one in the 4 years I have lived in San Antonio, Texas, the 7th largest city in the U.S. How many have you seen? Donating anything more than a lifetime membership to the IAS is not based on LRH policy. The article, What Your Donations Buy, The Auditor, the Monthly Journal of Scientology number 51, 1970, is clearly talking about how the church uses your donations for Dianetics and Scientology services. Next time you are asked to donate outside of services, realize that you are engaged in fundraising, and ask to see something in writing from L. Ron Hubbard, that this is something he expects from you as a Scientologist. New org buildings. LRH also never directed the purchase of opulent buildings or the posh renovations or furnishings for every org. In fact, if you read HCO Policy Letter, March 12, 75, Issue 2, The Ideal Org, which is what this program has been called, and nowhere in it will you find $20 million buildings, or even any reference to the poshness of org premises at all, as part of LRH's description of an ideal org. Instead, an ideal org was one that delivered and moved people up the bridge, something that is not part of this ideal org program. LRH says in the policy letter that an ideal org
would be clean and attractive enough not to repel its public.
This is all it says about the state of the building. As a result of this off-policy alteration of the ideal org policy letter, we have the majority of top OTs, now deemed OT ambassadors, heavily engaged in fundraising activities that include bingo, pirate dinners, knitting classes, hay rides, and many other activities, strictly revolving around raising funds for the required multi-millions of dollars to fund their ideal org. As part of this, people around every org are now asked to donate to their local ideal org, instead of their own services or their own bridge. LRH says in HCO Policy Letter, Org Ethics and Tech.
Get rid of distractions from Scientology in your org. Babysitting or raffle tickets and such nonsense.
Yet these distractions are rampant as they are being used as fundraisers to get money for the huge quotas being issued to fund the ideal org.
If the org slumps, don't engage in fundraising or selling postcards or borrowing money. Just make more income with Scientology. It's a sign of very poor management to seek extraordinary solutions for finance outside Scientology. It has always failed. For orgs as for PCs, solve it with Scientology. Every time I myself have sought to solve financial or personnel in other ways than Scientology, I have lost out. So I can tell you from experience that org solvency lies in more Scientology, not patented combs or fundraising barbecues.
HCO Policy Letter, February 24, 1964, Issue 2, Org Programming, OEC Volume 7, page 930. The point is that Scientologists and OTs need to be training, auditing and disseminating to our public, not regging each other or holding internal fundraisers. OutTech. Over the last few years, we have seen literally hundreds and hundreds of people who were validated as clear, using the CCRD as developed by LRH, now being told they are not clear. This included hundreds of OTs, who were then put onto New Era Dianetics as a handling. LRH clearly forbid any Dianetics to be run on OTs. In HCO Bulletin, Dianetics forbidden on OTs. This is OutTech. This entire technical handling was directed personally by Chairman of the Board, Religious Technology Center, and was done on thousands of OTs. But it was based not on an LRH, HCO bulletin, but rather based on a single case supervisor instruction, where LRH case supervised one pre-OT, who had not achieved the state of clear, but was mid-OT 3, and not making it. LRH directed a solo handling that the pre-OT was to do, to get himself to achieve the state of clear. This LRHCS taken out of context was then used to implement a technical handling that was in direct violation of an LRH HCOB. This and other technical handlings done on Solonauts auditors created great expense and hardship on Solonauts auditors around the world, as they were made to do these handlings to continue on the level. Then there are the fast grades at Flag that no other work has. How can it be that Flag has been delivering grades differently to the rest of the world for the last 3 years? Whatever the problem is, the fact is that having fast grades at Flag creates a hidden data line and is a high crime, and the subject of an entire policy letter called HCOPL, Tech Degrades, which LRH has placed at the start of every Scientology course. More recently, the fad seems to be that nearly everyone needs to redo their Purif and do a long objectives program, including many OTs, mid-solo knots. There is nothing wrong with doing objectives, but it is a clear violation of HCOB, mixing rundowns and repairs, to have a person mid a rundown or OT level be taken off it and placed on an objectives program. Solonauts auditors are also being made to get their objectives from a Class 9 auditor, at great expense, as they are not being allowed to co-audit. Flag has made many millions of dollars on the above listed out-tech handlings, because OTs, mid-Solonauts are forced to get these out-tech actions, to be able to get back onto and stay on the level and complete it. Not to mention the spiritual effects of the out-tech that this has on each OT. I myself was subject to these out-tech handlings, including extensive FPRD, mid-solo knots. It took its toll in many ways, including physical situations I am still dealing with today, so I have some reality of the hardship caused. LRH command structure. LRH left us with the complex and balanced command structure, with our orgs led by the Office of ED International. This office was considered so important that LRH created a special management group called the Watchdog Committee, whose only purpose was to see that this office and the other needed layers of management existed. LRH ED 339R speaks of this extensively as the protection for our church, but these people are missing, and not just some. As of just a few years ago, there were no members of the Office of ED International on post, not to mention top execs throughout the international management structure. You may have also wondered, where is Heber, the president of the church? What about Ray Mithoff, senior CS International, the one that LRH personally turned over the upper OT levels to? How about Norman Starkey, LRH's trustee? What happened to Guillaume, Executive Director International? And Mark Yeager, the WDC chairman? What happened to the other international management executives that you have seen at events over the years? The truth is that I spent weeks working in the empty International Management Building at INT. Empty because everyone had been removed from post. When I first went up lines, I was briefed extensively by David Miscavige about how bad all of them were, and how they had done many things that were all very discreditable. This seemed to explain the fact that the entirety of the Watchdog Committee no longer existed. The entirety of the executive strata, which consisted of ED International and 11 other top international executives, that were the top executives in their particular fields, no longer existed. That the Commodore's Messenger Org International no longer existed. All of these key command structures of Scientology International, put there by LRH, had been removed. There were hundreds and hundreds of unanswered letters and requests for help from org staff, written based on LRH ED 339R, where LRH says that
Staff can write to these top executives in the exec strata for help.
But this is not possible if all these execs have been removed, and no one is there to help them, or to get evaluations and programming done to expand Scientology. Well, after that I got to spend some quality time with Heber, Ray Mithoff, Norman Starkey, Guillaume, as well as the entirety of international management at the time, who were all off post, and doing very long and harsh ethics programs. These have gone on for years, and to the only result of that, they are still off post. There is no denying that these top executives have all gradually disappeared from the scene. You don't see them at the big events anymore, or on the ship at maiden voyage. David Miscavige has now become the leader of the Scientology religion. Yet what LRH left behind was a huge structure to properly manage all aspects of the Scientology religion. He put a complete and brilliant organizational structure there, not one individual. There never was supposed to be a leader, other than LRH himself, as the goal maker for our group. There is a situation here, and even if you have not been to the international management base, you should be able to see that over-regging and frequent tech changes are not okay. And you have a responsibility to do something to keep Scientology working. You should be able to find and read the references on membership in OEC Volume 6. Find and read the HCOPL, entitled The Ideal Org, Data Series 40. Find and read the references on org buildings, including HCOPL, August 24, 65-2, Cleanliness of Quarters and Staff, Improve Our Image. Also, HCOPL, June 17, 69, The Org Image. If you don't want to make waves, or put yourself in danger of being taken off the level, or denied eligibility, then there are some simple things you can do. First and foremost, withdraw your support from off-policy actions. Stop donating to anything other than your own services and actual bridge progress. Simply demand to see an LRH reference that says you are required to make other such donations. No one will be able to produce any references, because there aren't any. Stop supporting any of the activities that are being done to forward off-policy fundraising in your area. LRH says what he expects of a Scientologist. That is what he expects you to do. In fact, he put it in HCOB, June 10, 1960, Issue 1, Keeping Scientology Working Series 33, What We Expect of a Scientologist. Read it, and follow it. The other thing you can do is to send this email to as many others as you can, even if you do it anonymously. Please keep this email among us, the Scientologists. The media have no place in this. You may wonder why I have not written a knowledge report and gone about my business. The answer is, I have. But there is no longer anyone to send that KR to. But you can, and should write reports, and bring off policy to the attention of local org executives, and local Sea Org members. We are a strong and powerful group, and we can effect a change. We have weathered many storms. I am sorry that I am the one telling you, but a new storm is upon us. Its waves are already in the media and the world around us. The truth is that as a Scientologist, you are more able, more perceptive, and have a higher integrity. Scientology is supposed to allow you to think for yourself, and never compromise your own integrity. And most certainly LRH held every Scientologist responsible to keep Scientology working. I am not trying to do anything other than effect a change in serious off-policy actions occurring. My husband and I have most of our family, and many good friends, who are Scientologists. I have not been real interested in sticking my neck out like this. However, I also know that I dedicated my entire adult life to supporting LRH, and the application of LRH technology. And if I ever had to look LRH in the eye, I wouldn't be able to say I did everything I could to keep Scientology working, if I didn't do something about it now. We all have a stake in this. It is simply not possible to read the LRH references, and not see the alterations and violations that are currently occurring. You have a very simple obligation to LRH. Don't participate in anything off policy, and let others know they should not either. If every person who reads this email does nothing more than step back from off-policy actions, we would have changed direction. If we took all that energy and directed it into auditing, training and raw public dissemination, we would be winning. And that is what I wish for you and all of us as we ring in this new year. ARC. Debbie Cook.